With a view like this, it's easy to see that the forest consists of 5 layers: the soil, the forest floor, the shrub layer, the understory, and the canopy. At the bottom is the soil layer. And here, in this loam, there are teeming numbers of organisms that are involved in the process of decomposing the enormous amount of biomass that rains down from the treetops. In fact, in some ways, soil is the most biologically productive ecosystem on the planet. The vast majority of organisms in the soil are microbes, and their numbers are astonishing. In rich soil like this, it appears that there may be as many as 1 million cells per gram of soil. 1 million microscopic organisms in a little pinch of dirt like this. And that means that in a handful of soil, there are more microorganisms than there are human beings on the earth. In these modern times, we all know how important it is to celebrate biodiversity, to rejoice in the amazing variety of life on earth. Well, here it is, right in this hidden forest, in this wonderful world that exists right beneath our feet, every time we walk among the trees. When a tree falls over, like this one did, it gives us a great opportunity to examine its roots. It is easy to see where some of the taproots extended down into the soil to give the tree access to deep sources of moisture during times of drought. But most people are surprised to learn that the majority of a tree's roots actually extend laterally off to all sides and only at a depth of about 1 to 2 feet into the soil. This is what gives each tree its lateral stability, which is a critical adaptation. After all, a tree is comprised of enormous weight that is teetering on only a single stalk. And when a strong wind pushes on the leaves and branches at the top, the leverage down at the bottom is enormous. It is critical then for any tree to spread out a strong and wide lateral base in order to resist the forces that conspire to topple it over. Here at the base of the trunk, we can see each tree preparing to face such forces. Where the tree begins to intersect with the ground, it spreads out long lateral processes called prop roots, like these ones here. They provide powerful braces along the force lines that come to bear down here when the wind blows up there. And down here in the tropics, we see that same adaptation played out on a particularly large scale. For one thing, the trees down here grow to truly dizzying heights. And for another thing, the tropics experience among the strongest winds on the planet. Winds of hurricanes and monsoons. Consequently, the prop roots of many tree species, like this fig, have evolved to be particularly elaborate and strong. In these cases, biologists refer to them as buttresses, borrowing an architectural term that refers to the side braces deliberately built onto a tall wall, like in a medieval church. The form and shape of these buttresses are themselves a delight. They invariably invoke a childlike impulse to explore the mazes the miniature alleyways create. And I'm going to do just that. When an individual tree reaches the end of its life and topples over, like this one recently did, the event creates a considerable change in the immediate vicinity, and it triggers a significant chain of events that transpire in its wake. These are good places to reflect on the slow progression of forest recycling of nutrients. Each fallen log becomes a microhabitat all of its own. On a micro scale, it is its own universe where energy and nutrients flow from organism to organism and as a result from place to place. In this way, cellulose and other organic molecules of the wood are digested and transformed into the organic molecules that make up all of these organisms, that make up this entire web of life. Biologists refer to fallen logs on the ground, like this one, as nurse logs, and they serve as linear nursery zones for baby trees. In some forests, this process is so common that it is possible to see multiple trees lined up in a row, having all started out on the same fallen log. Eventually, the initial rich source of nutrients is completely digested by the microorganisms of decay, but the signs of its presence at the beginning of this tree's life are still quite evident at the space where this tree reaches the ground. The shape of the original nurse log is still quite visible when you take the time to look for it.